Start to create some colour swatches, so you're just demonstrating a range of tones. Remember, on your darkest tone you're going to create your tab, and then you'll be able to use your tab as you go along. Whenever you sharpen your pencil crayon and you need to recreate a tab, just go back to this darkest tone for that colour and create your tab once again. Separate all of your tones, now creating your tonal jigsaw pieces, and remember these are the tones that you will then apply into your drawing to create an accurate and detailed version of the colour copy. So I'm adding in some grey. Remember, if you're experimenting with grey on the actual drawing, it's small touches of grey, just to highlight, just to kind of demonstrate where those darker tones are. Try to avoid using it if it's something maybe that you've struggled with in the lessons. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure that you've got an accurate drawing with all of the separate petals. So you're going to use your reference image to help you do that, because there are absolutely loads of petals within this, but from the template there's not very many. Make sure you've got your tab, so once again just use your dark tone just to help you create a new tab, and I'll just be working in a small section just to demonstrate what to do. So we're going to work with the light, dark, medium method, so you fill your shape with your lightest colour and lightest tone. Remember, for the light tone, when you're filling up that particular petal, you don't need to worry about the direction that you're working in, because you will blend that through. You're going to mark off now where your darker tones will be, adding in any of the lines that are represented on the petal, and just marking them off with the same colour but just with a dark to medium tone. And you can see I'm just adding them on as single lines, just kind of adding in the detail and direction of line that I can see on the petals. This will remind you of the lines that you've added on the roses and the other flowers in class, and also very similar to what we've done in Biro Pen, where we're marking off direction, and then for this particular stage you're going to blur the actual line that you've added on. Just blur that over, opposite direction, just softening the edges of the line. And once again, I've not changed the colour of the pencil crayon, it's exactly the same colour for the whole of this particular stage, as I'm marking off and adding my lighter tones and my lightest shades of pink. I'm just blurring those tones in. You'll finish all of that particular section and then move on to your darkest colour. So we're doing light, dark and then medium, and you're just going to mark off now where the darkest tones will be, using slightly different shade of pink. So you've got this purpley pink, and just marking off where all those darker tones will be. So I'm using the wrong side of the tab to get some of those neater edges, and then back to the tab in order to blend. Anytime you lose your tab, just go back to your dark jigsaw piece of tones and just start to bring that back. So again, pressing down heavy, lots and lots of pressure for my darker tones, smoothly blending as I'm blending into those lighter tones that I've added, protecting my light tones wherever possible so I don't lose them, and that they remain there wherever the directional light is hitting this particular petal, and making sure that I'm keeping those lighter tones visible, because I can't really erase them as I'm working in pencil crayon. At this point you can start to consider bringing in another colour, and I can see red within this particular petal, so I'm just adding that colour over the top, again using my tab, using a small circular motion, softly blending those tones over the top, bringing in some extra depth and detail. And remember, these can end up underneath some of the other tones, as you can bring in your light tones again, your pink tones, and really start to softly blend them all. This is the light pink, the colour that I used at the very beginning, and I'm using this as kind of like a blurring tool. I'm going to go over the top and blend that in, and use my darker tones as well, and just neaten up some of those edges, blurring those tones and making sure that they are softly blended and I'm getting accurate detail. I'm constantly referring to the reference image to see where the tones are placed, just checking that I'm getting them in the right position. Now where the petals touch, you'll see that there are some kind of like darker tones, and this is where I'm going to use the grey, and I'm just going to add a little bit with the wrong side of the tab, and with a tiny circular motion just blend that through. Okay, now remember, only use the grey if you feel confident enough to use it, because it is quite dark. It does sit a little bit on top of the pink tones, but it can add that extra depth and extra detail.